it was so healing for me. And I came away feeling like I've been seen, and I'm safe, and it's okay. There was no judgment. It was a sacred holding, and that you can't find in just, you might have a chat with a friend if you're having a hard go at something, but there's something so profound about being around a fire in that circle, with that energy.
Hello, and welcome to the Unapologetically Yours podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Logan, and I'm so happy to have you here today. Unapologetically Yours is a podcast where we go deep on everything from spirituality to business and connection to relationships and everything in between. Because in a world when we've been told to play by the rules, it's time to live unapologetically. And that's exactly what I've been doing with my life to great results. Questioning belief systems, questioning modalities, exploring new parts of myself. And it has been such an expansive journey. And today we're going to talk a little bit about how to lean into the knowing inside of you that you're ready for something more, and some tools and offerings that help support that in the form specifically of retreats. I am here today with Genevieve Deely. She is a Reiki master and sound practitioner, and I have the absolute honor of co-facilitating with her during the Restore retreat that we're hosting coming up September 12th through the 14th, here just a couple hours outside of Chicago. Genevieve, thank you so much for being here.
You are so welcome. It is such an honor. I was so excited when you asked me to join. I want to say it feels like we have parallel lives at the moment, because I completely resonate with everything around deeper questioning, looking down deep below and wondering, is this exactly what others are telling me to do? Or is this what I want to do? So I'm so fully on board with all that. Just to introduce myself a little bit, I am a Reiki master and sound healing practitioner. And I came into this extremely healing and profound journey about 10 years ago when I first lost my first daughter, and she cracked me open. And it just, of course, I went on a very deep grief journey. But what I can say today is that it was the greatest gift of my life. It just blossomed me into who I really am. And of course, that's a continual journey. But I really started to wonder what was down deeper. Who am I? What is my purpose here? And all of these, sort of profound questions. And it's been such a insightful, very deep, quite painful journey coming to this point today. So sound healing and Reiki discovered me along the way, and it was a calling. I never even knew what it was. Crystal singing bowls, Reiki, energy work, completely living in tunnel vision life. And to keep a long story short, those tools and that energy found me. And then I started to really fall into it and love just the idea of like playing for myself and my own healing, and realizing that sound healing bypasses the chattered mind, the constant, dwelling, all of that patterning. It goes straight to the cells and just works with the synapses, things that where the trauma, where the joy, where everything is living in the body. Yes. So I just found that, and just then continued to find myself in group spaces and like, I want to do this for others. And it's been, it's me. It's just more of me, really.
Well, I mean, it's so amazing how the synchronicities of life bring people together, and those little knowings and following the breadcrumbs. And first of all, I just want to acknowledge the loss of your daughter. It's every parent's worst nightmare. And the way that you alchemize that grief into something that becomes a gift to other people to alchemize their grief and what they're holding in their cells is truly such a gift. And Genevieve and I first met under the most interesting of circumstances. We have mutual friends, and they were hosting a retreat in Chicago, and they needed to borrow my crystal singing bowls. So I came and dropped them off at a friend's house, and Genevieve was there. Dr. Laura Berman was also there. And all of a sudden we like break out into this totally impromptu sound healing session where we're playing the bowls. Genevieve starts singing and we've got drumming. It was just like, it was so incredible. And I was so drawn to the authenticity of your voice and the vulnerability that just kind of permeates through your cells and your genuine, kind nature that I knew that a collaboration was in our future. And so enter the Restore Retreat. And so, one, I want to talk about lots of different avenues here. But first of all, retreats are one of those experiences that can absolutely change your life. And grief and transition and all of those things, they can crack us open. And without the right support system, but without a strong support system, without tools, grief can unmoor you and trauma can unmoor you. And what I found for me in part of my healing journey, because similar, the sound bowls found me. I was on a retreat in Tulum. It was such a profound experience. I'm going to share a little bit more about that, but it suddenly just clicked. Like all of the things that I'd been taught about music, all of the things I'd been taught about expression, none of it included this modality that could offer so much healing and grounding just by playing them and then playing for myself and playing for others. And it was like something cracked open. What are all of the other things that I don't know about that I could be bringing to different people and bringing back to my community? And that's sort of how my Reiki sound healing journey started. So we're so similar in that regard.
Oh my gosh, so beautiful. Yes, I just love the idea of the energy finding us. Like it does take a certain awareness to be like, I'm going to be open to receiving. And sometimes when we do feel that call, we sort of, oh, not now. Like the rational logic mind gets in, not now. I can't afford. I shouldn't. Yeah, I'm too guilty to leave the house, the home. And I went through all of that. And it took quite a time to come into full confidence of going away on these type of retreats and going, no, this is what I need for myself. I can't give from an empty glass. I need to fill it first. And then when I come back to my children and my family, I really do feel like, oh, I miss you. Oh, let's sit down. I want to hear your nonsense talk for 10 minutes. Like what? It's like you actually, I do feel more genuinely like, I'm present. I'm available. I have so much more space for what is here in the day. So I've learned that it's a necessity for me. My own personal space is a necessity for me in order to be more present. So
yes.
Yeah.
I feel that too. The first retreat that I went on was 2022, and it was hosted by my friend and mentor, Meg Sylvester, and it was in Tulum. And I couldn't explain the calling, but I decided to lean into it. And what came from that retreat was learning, one, how to just releasing the things that I was carrying in a space where people weren't expecting anything from me. So I didn't have to provide for anyone. I didn't have to tend to anyone else's needs but my own. And the way that, especially for mothers, our society is structured that we are always on call. We're always available and always tending to others. And I don't think that that's really how our brains are designed, and where it sounds counterintuitive and even self-indulgent to take the time away. The rewards from that, I can directly point to, I'm a better mother. I'm a more present mother. I am more aligned. I'm more myself, which gives my kids permission to be more aligned and more themselves. And every area of my life became more authentic from listening to that voice inside. And many, many retreats and certifications there, it cracked open a whole path of change, and that has really transformed my life and my way of thinking.
Yeah, you are such a powerhouse. It's like your soul is so smart. It's like the minute it's like, oh, this works, it's like, let me keep going on this bandwagon, and it just feels like it's completely blossomed your life into like more authenticity. And that is the highest vibe. I just feel like truth begets truth. Like there's something so rewarding on such an energetic level, a spiritual, soulful level, when you can go, I'm going to face the truth of what I need and I'm going to take care of myself. And it's might mean that somebody else is upset or I need to pull from this to afford that or whatever it is. But the reward is 1,000 times fold.
Tell me about a retreat experience, something that changed your life.
So recently I went on a retreat. It was probably about a couple months ago, and it was out in this beautiful countryside, and it was probably about 8 to 10 people. I can't remember, but the medicine of just being witnessed, I had a lot of grief come up, unexpected. I was like, I'm ready to do this. Let's go. We're going to, and then we sat by the fire and it all came out, and I was not prepared for this. But the witness from every single person, speechless, like it's not able to put in words. It's an alchemy that happens when you think, so what? Somebody heard you cry and share, but it was so healing for me. And I came away feeling like I've been seen, and I'm safe and it's okay. There was no judgment. It was a sacred holding, and that you can't find in just, you might have a chat with a friend if you're having a hard go at something, but there's something so profound about being around a fire in that circle, with that energy.
And it's sacred. What always strikes me about retreats is that the alchemy of the participants. Every single person brings that unique medicine. Every single person is supposed to be there. And the way that people show up for each other, while also it's this beautiful balance of being seen and seeing others. And in a space where there's that expectation, that safe container around, we have a shared goal to connect. We have a shared goal to tend to ourselves, and the full freedom to take the time to go walk by yourself or do something by yourself, and that no one is going to be in judgment of that is such a beautiful thing. Because you're right. Yes, it's rejuvenating to go have a dinner with girlfriends, but inevitably someone has to cancel because the babysitter didn't show up, or this or this or that. But showing up in a space like this where you can let your guard down and really just tune in to yourself and to other people, and in the spirit of reciprocity, of giving and of healing is incredible.
Yeah, I think at the foundation of it is connection. I think that's what we really, just as human beings, we're wired for, connection. And it's a space where it's unavoidable. You just, everyone who is meant to be there will be there. And that the essence that each person brings, it just sort of completes a beautiful puzzle of connection.
It's so true. And I think about all of the people who are listening right now who maybe saw some of the retreat promotions come out or saw something on social media and have questions and felt maybe that little nudge inside of them. Is this for me? Should I go? Should I do this? Should I pick this over the girls' weekend? And I have to say that is the nudge from the universe. That is the nudge from your conscious. That's the nudge from inside to say that knowing that, yes, you need something more. And it's funny because I've had some friends who are like, so like, if I go on this retreat, what am I going to have to look at that I'm avoiding? And the truth is that you can go as deep as you want to go in a gentle space. And let's stop for a second and talk about the Restore Retreat so that we can share a little bit more about what we're creating here. So to start, Genevieve and I will be co-facilitating a retreat September 12th through 14th, just about 3 hours outside of Chicago. So totally accessible. We have shared rides, other things for people to get there. So all you have to do is get there. And then once there, the retreat sits on 165 acres of just land. There's old growth forest. There's the river, the Mississippi's river. There's a little lake. There's a pool. And what we want to build is a container for women who are feeling burnt out, who are feeling like maybe they need to reset, who are going through a transition, who just haven't taken that time ever maybe to focus inward on themselves and to hold them in a space where they don't have to make a decision about what they're going to eat. We've got food that accommodates all dietary restrictions, all home cooked meals, intentional time in nature. We have Genevieve who will be leading sound healing. And oh my gosh, she is so magical that in herself, just being in your presence, I'm sure everyone who's watching this can feel just what a calming, grounded spirit you are. And, and then also play. So yes, it's going deep. Yes, it's offering that space to tend to your own needs. And it's also about that sisterhood and that connection and the shared experience that can really make people walk away feeling seen, whole, and restored so they can go back to their lives and feel that, have some tools to navigate the world with a little bit more peace, a little bit more clarity, a little more agency around how you're structuring your time, and also feeling more connected to yourself so that you can parent and show up in your relationships, whether as a mother, as a coworker, as a partner, all of those things. It impacts and permeates into all aspects of life. So we're so excited to offer this to you. And still have a few spaces available with private rooms and shared rooms to accommodate a bunch of different price points. It's going to be amazing.
I know. I can't wait.
I'm so excited. So before you committed to your first retreat, what were some of the worries that you had about joining?
Me personally, I tend to get overwhelmed in group space. So I was concerned, how would I feel around a lot of energy? Everyone being, on and wanting to connect. And what if I was more in a inside quiet space and needed to just be on my own? And the responsibility of like, oh, but you've got to be a good girl. You've got to be nice. You've got to be polite. You've got to show up. And so that's sort of a wound of mine that I've been moving through and seeing I'm not responsible for other people's feelings, So that's something that was completely blasted when I got there. It was like no big deal whatsoever, because no one has the expectation of like how you should or shouldn't be. You just come as yourself. And I think that is another aspect of just come as you are. You don't have to be anything for anyone.
I love that too. For me, I was so nervous, like, okay, am I going to like everyone? Are they going to like me? And then also wondering, like, am I going to understand what's going on? Am I spiritual enough? Am I enough in all of these things? I had never done breath work. I had never done some of the things that were on the agenda for the retreat. And so I was going in flying so blind, and I just surrendered and said, whatever will be, and trusted that the facilitators would accommodate whatever my needs were. And they did. And every retreat that I've gone to since, and there's many, whether from like facilitator trainings and other sort of more like healing based retreats, it's all been amazing to see how the facilitators hold that sacred space and allow you to just show up exactly as you are, without expectations, without judgment, with nothing but total pure love and connection. And that's the part that sticks. Those relationships become sacred. Those relationships become something that you can lean on over time. And it's really a wonderful and beautiful and almost indescribable thing until you experience it instead. If you had any advice for someone who's thinking about joining us in September, what advice would that be?
Well, I would say to sit quietly with yourself and try to just give some space from all the shoulds, I should or I shouldn't. Just go a little deeper than that and feel into your heart space. If it's a yes or a no, if this is right for you or not. And it takes quiet stillness to get to that answer. We're not here to force anyone. We're just holding space, welcoming the energy that wants to come into this place and space. So if that feels like a yes to you, then do whatever you can to honor it, is my advice.
I love that. And even knowing what a yes feels like in your body. And that's that aliveness. That's excitement. And sure, it might come with a little bit of fear, but it's definitely not that closed sensation, that retraction. And so I love that advice. It's so true. Sitting with it and thinking about picturing yourself, seeing pictures after the event and wondering what it would have been like to be there, thinking about how you'll feel after, also wondering about the things that maybe you've been putting off, and knowing that it's a safe space to just be your full self, whatever that might be. What are your thoughts on the importance of women, working women, especially mothers? What do you think is the importance of carving out this time for yourself?
So I think it's vital that us women, mothers, caretakers, partners, whatever role you're in, fundamentally, it's vital to make space and time for yourself. And it just more and more feels like that gets taken away, not necessarily in a malicious, intentional way. It's just life is so fast. It moves so quickly, and it really takes discipline to stop and slow down and check in with yourself. Fundamentally, without that slowing down and without that space for yourself, how do you even know what you're doing in a day or why you're even doing what you're doing? You just end up in autopilot, and that's no life to live. You know, these sort of spaces that we're creating are plugging your battery back into the outlet of life force energy, and you go back illuminated. And it might, again, sometimes these retreats do ask you to open up a bit more, and you might face something you weren't prepared to, or like for me. But even coming out of that retreat, I felt more complete. I bawled my eyes out, but I felt more complete and more joyful in the integration period afterwards. So there is a bit of an integration after a retreat, but it's an important time, and can feel myself go on a tangent. So I'll stop there, and that's my answer.
Yeah, well, integration is something we'll definitely address during the retreat too, and how to support you afterwards as you're moving through life with new levels of awareness. And at the end of the day, I think that you hit the nail on the head. It's about giving yourself space to allow yourself to be seen, allow yourself to understand why you're doing certain things, why you're making decisions. Is it based on should, or is it based on your authentic self? And when we as women see each other in our full authenticity, that's how we change the world, because we're not repeating old stories that are outdated. We're telling the truth. And by giving ourselves a space to do that, the peace, the joy, the alignment is next level. And I'll say one more thing about grief and transition and all of those things, that even if you haven't had major life events, we all carry grief. Even things like navigating the pandemic and the decisions you had to make. And if you've never given yourself space to really grieve that time, and we carry it in our bodies, and we can only experience joy to the level that we're willing to experience our grief. And when you go and face your grief, it unlocks new levels of joy. Just like you said, that release that you experience with the tears and unlocking things that you didn't necessarily expect to, and then seeing how that unlocks new levels of joy, bliss, so that you can live a life that feels more complete, more aligned. And that's a really beautiful thing. So with that, let's do a quick invitation for those who want to come, and picturing at this retreat that we have just a house full of women who are all showing up for each other in love, in acceptance, without judgment, without competition, there to see each other, walking out into the old growth forest that's on the property. I see laughter. I see fire. I see music and singing. And it is so, so, so beautiful.
I see it with you. And I feel the joy of it already in my body.
So if attending our retreat in September is on your heart, feel free to, one, reach out with any questions. Either Genevieve or myself are available to answer any questions, to share more experiences about our own retreats that we've attended over the years, and to share more about what you can expect from the experience. But we'd love to have you. And if you feel that calling, it's because your medicine, what you bring, is part of the alchemy of this retreat. And not only are you wanted there, but you're needed. So that's it from us today. Thank you so much for tuning in as we share more about retreats and what you can expect from the Restore retreat coming up in September. We would love to have you. We'd be honored to hold that space so you can go and just be the beautiful, layered, deep, multifaceted woman that you are in our presence. And it'll just be our biggest honor. Anything that you want to add, my dear?
No, I just feel such an alignment, and I just feel like, yeah, that is perfectly put. Anyone who feels the call, it's because you're wanted and you're welcomed and you are meant to be there. And thank you for thank you for asking me. I feel so excited to co-facilitate.
I felt that instant connection with you. And so I knew it was meant to be. And I've learned enough over the last couple of years to trust that, because those are little winks from the universe to help us live our most beautiful, sensational, aligned lives. So
agreed. Thank you, love.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm Ashley. This is Genevieve. You can find out more about the retreat at ashleydlogan.com. That's where all the registration pricing information is up there. We offer scholarships and flexible payment plans for anyone who is interested. And until then, I'm Ashley. This is Genevieve, and we are unapologetically yours.